Hello, folks, and welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our comic for today is Terror Inc. Apocalypse Soon, Issue 2 by Max. Now, there is violence, killing, shooting, limb tearing, not giant, but magical snakes, and a deadly virus in this one, so if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Alright, here's the team. So, when we left off Mr. Terror in issue 1, he had just brought the kid, or the apparently teenage boy, that had the deadly virus that he was supposed to steal a sample of. Inside of him, he's the carrier, but an immune carrier. And he didn't know that. He brought him to a hospital, and then people around caught the virus from him and started to die. Now, before I started this issue, I thought it would continue from there. But no. We start with Mrs. Primo. It says 1 hour ago. Mrs. Primo, obviously, is there in Istanbul. She's talking to Agent Pfeiffer. I think it's like Michelle Pfeiffer. That's how you pronounce that. I'm pretty certain he's some kind of American agent. Anyway, he's talking to her about how she should leave. Everything's quarantined. They finally got control of Mr. Terror because he also got infected with the virus. And it was a whole shit show. You see his quarantine area, and then we see 14 hours ago, Mr. Terror running in the streets of Istanbul. He's having hallucinations from the virus. He sees himself as a knight, and the helicopter, there's a second helicopter that chase him. He sees them as snakes, and then how he crashes into a room full of harem ladies, and how the snakes are attacking. He's like, I'll save you, ladies. Well, eventually they take him down with 2 missiles. Then we go back to where he is. To Mrs. Primo, they've all arrived to where he is. They quarantine the area. He's in a special van. Team brings some bodies for Mrs. Primo because she needs them for him. She's going to burn the bodies currently, and then she tells them, okay, boys, throw in the scraps, or the body parts. So Mr. Terror can make himself a new body, and also kill the virus that's in the former body. 1 moment, let me just confirm something. So that happens in the beginning. Let's see. Oh, and also Mrs. Primo, it tells them it's no longer, and now he tells her we're not in Los Angeles, Mrs. Primo. Oh yeah, and he since his arm gets shot off, so his appendages, like that thing, the curse inside of him that grabs body parts, shoots at the helicopter. And then he sees a wizard guy with the snakes coming out. Okay. Alright, sorry, before Mrs. Primo goes to him to burn his body and tell the team to throw in, we have an emergency meeting between, it looks like there's a Russian agent there, obviously the US agent, Mr. Pfeiffer, and I think someone probably from England. I don't know who else. They're talking about what this is, how Mr. Terror was sent, and he was hired by the Israelis. And of course the Israelis are going to deny it. And apparently the virus was a teenage boy, inside a teenage boy. And how they quarantined the hospital, but then 4 men in hazmat suits came in, and they abducted him. They abducted the teenage boy, and they suspect they are from this other Arab organization. So that's about it, and how it is ridiculous. And then I'm pretty sure it's Pfeiffer, how he says, well, it's a shame we can't question him. He means Mr. Terror. Of course, he knows they can. At least I'm pretty sure it's the same guy. Okay, then giving Mr. Terror a new body. Then he's sitting in some, I think, hotel room with Mrs. Primo. And he's now, they got him bodies from a medical college, and they're all like short young men. And he's like, he tells Mrs. Primo, we used to have a guy with us in Waterloo, and he was small, and we call him Toothpick. And he would clean the cannons. And he says, and she tells him, sorry, darling, there was a shortage. And he, like, moves his pants and says, I'd say so. Got someone with a small penis. And he's not happy about it. I did wonder in the first series if that part brought off quickly too or not. But I guess that doesn't matter that much. Let's continue. Agent Pfeiffer goes into the hotel room to talk to Mr. Terror, to tell him about it all, about the kid, and how in all this shit show he's not going to be able to pay him for, him taking care of this matter. And how he called the Israelis, but they denied having any connection to it. And after he said, I can't offer payment, Mr. Terror's like, well, what do you think I am? That I would ask money to help solve this. And he says, I think you're an asshole, but you're all I've got. So then I think they're somewhere out, and they're still in Istanbul outside. Mr. Terror and Mrs. Primo are near a jeep. Agent Pfeiffer's giving them, he tells them, okay, you can, there's your access, because the Israeli government, they shut off all flights and closed everything off. So he's like, okay, take this, get over there, and solve this. So as they drive, Mr. Terror, while they were talking in that meeting, there's a doctor there too, and he described how Mr. Terror was having hallucinations as he was running. So as they're driving, Mr. Terror tells Mrs. Primo how this virus is exactly like that Black Death that he experienced back then. Alright, what is it called? Black Death? I think it was called the Black Death. Yeah, it was the same back then. Oh, his name is Jeffo, Mr. Pfeiffer. Oh, is it? Yeah, Black Death, the same plague that ravaged Europe back then, while he was pursuing the Duque, the Spanish guy. And she says, oh yeah, the Duke story. And he said, well, I think it's time I finished it. So he was chasing after the Duke. The fuck? Well, that just got brighter. Eureka. What was I saying? Yes, he was chasing him, and he learned from a witch he was, as he says, acquainted with, if you know what I mean, that he caught the Black Death, and there was nothing she could do for him. So he was going to this guy, Zayak, the Dragon Lord. I'll just call him by his title. The Dragon Lord. For a price, he had the cure to the Black Death, which made Mr. Terror question if maybe he created the Black Death to begin with, because he had loads of that of the cure. So the Duque, that asshole, he's in the first issue, he killed attempted to kill his wife that was sick with the Black Death and was going to kill herself anyway, and took the two children to his mistress. And Duquesa hired Mr. Terror to kill him and also to go be with her children, to save them, make sure they're all right. So yes, he paid him a pile of gold that he obviously took from the Duquesa, and also gave him 3 virgins. So this Dragon Lord, he seems to be a being kind of like Mr. Terror, in the sense that it seems he can't die, and he has these 2 snakes coming out of his shoulders. what are they? Not pythons, but cobras maybe, but two deadly snakes, and they need to be fed on brains, a steady diet of human brains, and they. Of course, it's always virgins, isn't it? We need a virgin sacrifice. We need this, that. So yeah, virgin brains, because the Dragon Lord has a giant harem of virgins. So the Mr. Terror gets to the Dragon Lord and he talks to these virgins to get information where the Duke is, and of course gets distracted by wanting to sleep with them. And as Mrs. Pringle tells him, yes, they were eager and willing. So yes, but of course the Duke already paid the Dragon Lord to also get rid of Mr. Terror, to have his head. And he sends his own, not soldiers, but his own men. The Dragon Lord sends them. They grab Mr. Terror, and then he has to start fighting seriously. He says how he scared everyone there because they've never seen anything like him. He ripped his own body parts off and then took the body parts of the guards. Yeah, the guards would be correct, that were trying to kill him. Yeah, but then the Dragon Lord sent his snakes after him. And one of the snakes bit his brain off. Now, the thing that holds him together is inside his magical arm. At least according to here. I think in the first series it didn't matter because he loses his arm, but he still regenerates eventually. So I don't know why they decided that here. But okay. Maybe while the arm's on him. But anyway, he said that, yeah, he was still functioning while not having a brain because it was bitten off by the snake. But he was, only on basic, and the only brain he could get to change his own were from the poor virgins that were all around. And it took 26 women dying for him to finally defeat the Dragon Lord. Now, he couldn't kill him because, as I said, he's like Mr. Terror in that he can't die. So he took him somewhere deep underground and chained him there. And that basically means that now his snakes have nothing else to feed on but him. So he basically chained him into an eternity of being eaten, his brain being eaten and regenerating by his own snakes. Mr. Terror seems to have a habit of just leaving people in horrifying situations that probably traumatize them, and then they come back to try to kill him, it seems. Talita. Yeah. Well, to be fair, about that one, he had no idea. But yeah, so that's it. That's how that ended, and he thinks maybe this Dragon Lord's back. I mean, fuck it, Talita came back, so why not him? And after all, he knew he wasn't dead. He was just chained somewhere. Oh, and then Mrs. Brimble asked, oh, but what about the Duke, darling? It says, oh, I ripped the scrotum off and watched him bleed to death. And she tells him, bravo, darling. Hey, I probably would have done something similar. That asshole. He got off easy in a way, just bled to death. I'm sure Mr. Terror could have come up with something far worse. So that's it. Then it's, how many? I think it's 2 days later, isn't it? Let me just check. Yeah, I think it's 2 days later. Before that, after Mr. Terror chained up the Dragon Lord, he took his cure and was selling it and curing Europe. And Mrs. Primmel is like, darling. And he said, don't worry, I gouged out the rich and subsidized the cure for the poor. So yes, Mr. Terror's not all evil. Alright, then it's 2 days later in Tel Aviv. They're going to the agent mayor, I think his name is, that was the one that informed, I think, did the hiring of Mr. Terror. They're at his apartment. He's, there's a scene there, it's like he grabs him by the throat. But then it moves immediately to Mrs. Primo, Mr. Tarek standing at the doorway, and he's already at the couch. I think the pacing in this series is a little bit too fast at times. Like you think at least he grabbed him by the throat, then he would I don't know be sitting on the ground or something. But anyway. So yes, so he thought that now he didn't know at first, Mayor. They went in to chase this organization, but then they found that it was some kind of they had kind of a training camp there, and then they found the kid, the teenager, and that he was actually the one with the virus, and he thinks that they're I don't know that was before with Pfeiffer that they're going to they took no it was Mary they took the teenage kid or kid A as they call him to they were gonna first of course make a cure before they release the Black Death on the world. So now they're probably going to take him back if they can't manage to do it because they still got to do something. But this, so yeah, this Israeli agent, they all went in, and basically things got fucked. I read it, but now I need to remember. He also jittered a lot as he talked. What was he saying? 1 second. Okay, what were they doing? Right, it was a village, and the whole village raised this kid, this Typhoid Mary, as they call him. And he was there, and he says how the whole village was deformed and everything. There we go. Mr. Terrace said the Dragon Lord command of a terrorist outfit of Afghanistan. He can believe that's possible. Oh yeah, and the mayor tells him, yes, they talked about the Dragon Lord. Oh yeah, he's mayor's completely depressed and out of it. He's like, we're all going to die. Based on his apartment, it's quite obvious he's been drinking and taking pills and losing his shit. And he just Mrs. Primo goes to sit on the coffee table and moves the gun away from him. And says, well, come on, darling, you must stop feeling sorry for yourself. We need to think of a plan. And you need to help us, tell us what to, where to go and to take us there. But then he pulls out a gun from his pant leg, it was probably in his boot, and he shoots himself in the mouth. Shoots his brains out. And like, Miss Pribble's like, oh, another gun? And it's like, oh, shit. But then Mr. Terrace said, well, he still has a working pair of legs. And that's it. That's where the issue ends. Which, yeah, he's right. He means he can still use him for this. So, yeah, that was issue 2. All right, let's begin with the cover. I'm still glad the covers, I think, are by the same artist, because this looks fucking cool. Look at Mr. Terror. Old Dapper with that hat. And great backgrounds. Alright, let's go to the... Yeah, as I said in issue 2, the art style's fine, but I missed the art style of the second series. That was a lot. That was a great art style. This is okay, but yeah, I don't like it as much as I did the other one. Yeah, you see, poor old Mr. Terror. I can show you a bit more since this is not new. Yeah, there we go. There's Mrs. Primo. There's Agent Pfeiffer or Pfeiffer. But I gotta show you this one thing. Poor kid, though, the one that's carrying the virus, is obviously just gonna be used for experimentation. At least it's confirmed he's probably... Okay, so check this out. There's this one scene. I have seen this building in Tel Aviv many a times. It was so cool to see this scene here. I don't know what it's called even. I gotta find out because it's a really cool building in Tel Aviv. Yeah, but still the colors of the art are good. I'm not too big on this style. So the story, like I said already, I think the pacing is a little bit too fast. I think a little bit slower would have been ideal. Other than that, the story is progressing interestingly. It's up to see what's going to happen. Can Mr. Terror save this kid and what to do with him? If he's got this virus inside of him, he's a immune carrier. What does this mean for him? I mean, does it mean they can do something for him, or is he gonna have to live the rest of his life in quarantine, or will he be killed? Because well, this is Terror Inc. and this is Max, so it's explicit content. So there is a chance that the kid might die. I hope not, but I mean, sadly, realistically, the best way would have been if he was, killed and then burnt. But I'm sure Mr. Tail's gonna try to save him. But the question is, what do you do after you save him? Is the life of being quarantined much better for him? And is the dragon? I'm pretty certain the Dragon Lord's probably behind this. And Mr. Terra needs to start going to check on people that he imprisoned somewhere. Because, I mean, they might come out to seek revenge or something. But then again, I suppose how he would have killed him. Mr. Terra doesn't know how he himself will ever be able to die. Probably won't be able to, but you get what I mean. How do you kill someone like this Dragon Lord guy? Not exactly easy. But maybe he'll find a way. Because he says this guy was a chemist, so maybe he can find a cure. But why they for sure they need a cure? Oh, maybe then they can also help Abin. I think that was the kid's name. Maybe if they cure him, then he can live a normal life. Poor kiddo. But yeah, that's it. This was issue 2. I finally went back to this, reading other things, but I was like, I need to get back to this series and finish it already. Or continue it, I mean, not finish it yet. But yes, I'm excited for issue 3. Alright, folks, that is it. Let me know what you thought of issue 2 of Terror Inc. Apocalypse Soon. And that is it. Remember, collect what you're passionate about and share it on YouTube. Bye!